Alright, I am at the Bishop Lake Complex in Howell, Michigan, pretty close to Brighton. You guys. So, zoom out a little bit better. Okay. So I started thinking about what ideas about spinning around here. Yep. This thing. There we go. That way. This way. There you go. So I started thinking about content ideas to create. And I guess first on the list is, why did I become a photographer? That is a very complicated story. It's definitely not what I set out to do after high school. Even at the time, from going to high school to college, things were still in the film phase of photography. Hey, why'd you do that? This thing is all wonky. Come on. There we go. Okay. Even at the when I was just getting out of high school, everything was still in the film phase of photography. It wasn't digital yet, so it was a little more difficult to do. And I don't know. I guess I could have gotten into it, but I didn't really have a way to practice it. Didn't really have a way to set up Blackroom. I knew nothing about it. We didn't have YouTube back then, so if I had apprenticed under somebody, probably could have figured it out. But I guess the real question is, why does anybody pursue a means of art? Not just for a career, but as a hobby. And for me, it was a means of self-expression. I had always seen things in my mind and pictured them in a way, and I'd even take mental snapshots. Say the camera around. Okay, take a mental snapshot of that. Turn it. Stop it. Come on. Work with me. So, yeah, like when I was a lot younger, my teenage years, if I were walking the trail, I'd take a snapshot of that in my brain. If I didn't have a camera with me. And I don't know, that led to me getting a camera back in the days of film cameras and just taking a ton of pictures. As a kid, I don't like to talk about it a lot, and it's kind of a whole different road to go on as far as explaining photography, but I did spend a lot of time by myself. I was a different kid. My brothers, they got along with each other really well, but I couldn't really connect with either of them at the time, so yeah, I spent a lot of time by myself. And that time you look around and you become a lot more aware of your surroundings, because you're not focused on a social situation as much. So yeah, It's as much as I'll go into that for now. But yeah, I didn't go to college for photography. I actually went to college for turf grass management and agriculture. And that was that was the wrong choice. I enjoyed time in the outdoors. I enjoyed time in nature, but the turf grass industry as it is, golf courses, that career may be for some, but for me it was a lot of hard work, and I'm no stranger to hard work. Come on, there we go. Okay. I'm no stranger to hard work, but when you have a job that, when I was working in South Carolina, I worked for weeks upon weeks in 95-degree heat, 100% humidity. My bosses were very unsympathetic. And at the time, my mindset, I wasn't ready for a big career. I wasn't ready to manage people. So, yeah, it was a wrong career choice. But anyways, going back to part of it being a form of self-expression, I just always felt at ease on days like today. The sun was out, blue skies. And I mean, I know a lot of people do, but I wanted to capture it. I wanted to save it. I wanted to preserve it. And I wanted to remember it. Better than my memory remembers it. And so that led to taking a lot of pictures of my teenage years. This way. And eventually, when the golf course thing felt like it wasn't the right career choice, I finally had a digital camera, and I practiced all that I could with that. And photography being a means of expression, it is different for everybody. I think people pursue art as a career when they're sort of on a healing journey. Maybe not everybody, but when you put so much thought into a piece of work or into creating something, it makes you feel fulfilled in a way that really no other work made me feel fulfilled. And my first job doing photography wasn't all that great even. I did automotive photography for, almost 15 years. And the only good part about that was that it was steady work. It was doing what I liked doing. It was practicing what I liked doing. But long term, it wasn't what I wanted to do forever. And while I was doing automotive photography, I did weddings, I did family portraits, I practiced with drones. What else did I do? Senior portraits. So I practiced doing all that while I had my foot on the door, making consistent money doing automotive photography. And automotive photography was great for the first 2 years. I loved it because I was doing what I wanted to do and making money doing it. But working around car dealerships, that environment, that environment was kind of what's the word I'm looking for? it's not every dealership was the same, but a lot of the car dealerships I worked for in Kentucky, they were just some skeezy salespeople. And that's not to say every car dealership is like that. Most of the car dealerships, the salespeople, the staff are at the mercy of their managers. And the managers, some of them are good people, but most of them are really just looking to make a buck. And they want to say that, you know, they're doing everything to their higher ups and to their managers to make sales and you know, keep the dealership at a profitable range. But yeah, I probably shouldn't go too much more into that. Anyway, so yeah, photography as a means of expression. I think it's just being very aware of your surroundings. And two, like just seeing a beauty in what you see and recognizing that. And yeah, it's not a thing that guys talk about, but recognizing something that's beautiful and wanting to capture it and take it with you in a photograph. And the good thing and the bad thing about photography is, well, when you take a photo, you can leave out certain things, which can be good, but a photograph really only shows you a small sliver of the entire picture. For where you're standing, say, I'm standing in the middle of this path on this beautiful spring day, and I can see all around me as I spin my phone. Well, when you take a picture, you're only taking a sliver of what you see with you. And yeah. So in a way, that's a beautiful thing. You're only able to capture something very small and in the moment, without being able to see the rest of what is around it. And yeah, there are 3D cameras. I mean, with drones, God, this camera. With drones, you can capture a lot more. I like doing video more with drones than I like doing photos with drones for that very reason, because you can capture more of what's in the area. Yeah, I wanted this talk to be, I guess, a lot more about the expression part of photography, but I'm not a teacher. I've never tried to teach my trade or my skill to anybody. But if I were to teach a class on photography, I would say that the most important thing you want to develop first is an eye for seeing, and not just for seeing what's right in front of you, but for taking in the whole scene and looking at all the little aspects of everything about what could be in that picture, big or small. You could take a picture of a single flower, but you could also take a picture of the entire wooded area or garden that the flower's in. And that's kind of profound, I think. So yeah, the other thing about photography when you're photographing people is that I like the analogy or the metaphor that is in some songs. You're capturing ghosts on film. So, I mean, it wasn't until the 19th century when someone was able to take a photograph and remember a loved one that has passed, or I guess a little more recently, in the 20th century, to capture a moment at a party with a flash and with a high-speed camera. I've captured some stuff at weddings that really was in the moment. People dancing, people having fun. And yeah, that's another profound aspect of it, is you're only in a moment once. And no matter how many times you try to go back to that moment, it can never be the exact same way. With people, with places, you can always go back to that place or to that person. But the conditions that are in place in that very moment where the photograph's taken, it's never going to be the exact same unless you have a very, very rare, very rare moment of deja vu, or I guess a moment of serendipity. So yeah, that's the other reason why I really like taking photos or being a photographer. Less in the realm of commercial photography. I mean, I love doing real estate photography as a job. It helps me hone my skills and really practice all the technical aspects of photography, with flash, lighting, editing. But what really drew me to photography was that aspect of a rare moment never repeating the same way twice. And if you're able to capture that, it's a beautiful thing. And I wish I could come up with more ways to explain that. But yeah, if I were to tell a young photographer just getting started what to practice first, there's an art of seeing things, and I'm still, every year I learn something new, and every year I see something new in a photograph I'm going to take. There's an art to seeing things that sometimes you can't even practice at. Sometimes you have to have a profound life experience to really open up your mind and to see something beautiful as it is. But I would definitely tell a young photographer to really just sit in a space and look at their surroundings for a nice long time. Sit and be quiet for an hour in a space and look at everything around you. Don't look at your phone. Don't worry about what you got to do the next day. Don't worry about life. Just sit in an area on a nice day, preferably, and take in your surroundings. And when you start taking snapshots with your mind, that's when you start using your third eye, your photographer's eye, so to speak. But yeah, there's lots of reasons why I got into photography, but primarily as a means of self-expression and doing something that I enjoy doing, making money doing it. But it's been a long road. I am not going to lie. Nothing came right away. And I guess in everything that is worth pursuing, anything that's worth pursuing, or anything that's worth time in life, is not easy. And yeah, it's something that is really not for the faint of heart to do photography and keep at it. You'll have your ups and downs. I've certainly had plenty over the years. And you'll have times when you don't think it's going to work, and you might have to drop it and get a regular job. And I've certainly had those moments. Sometimes I still have them with the way the real estate market is right now. Believe me, I'm a little worried. That's my main source of income. But yeah, if you really want to do photography, if you want to get into it, if you want to do any form of art and make money doing it, figure out a way, any way to make money doing it if you really love it. I know that sounds like a cliche, but it's true. And if you have the will enough to go through the hard times of doing what you love doing, you'll make it one way or another. You'll figure it out. Your mind will adapt to situations you might be in, and you'll make it if you really, really want to do it. If you have your heart set on it, regardless of life circumstances. The great thing about the modern age of the internet and the cell phone is there are loads of ways to make money doing photography. And I'm not talking about OnlyFans. But yeah, that's it for today. I'll see you guys soon.